First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here. I must say that it's difficult to speak here today, knowing that none of the words I will be using will be enough to express the anger, fear, and agony of the girls and women in Afghanistan. It's been exactly 492 days since the schools were closed for girls, and in utter disappointment and frustration, I must say that nothing has been done since then. Unfortunately, the international community, world leaders, and the world collectively failed us. And by us, I mean the future. The future that we all share together. I urge everybody in this room to close their eyes for a few seconds and imagine being a young Afghan girl, deprived of your every basic human right, including being unable to leave your own house. What would you do for yourself? How would you help yourself? I want you to think of those girls as yourselves, and I want you to do for them what you would do for yourself, because it is your responsibility. I want the world to be there for my sisters. I want the world to fight for my sisters, because my sisters, all of them back home, are worth the fight. Every time I look at one of my younger sisters at school, at my school, Sula, which is not only a school, but also my second home, I clearly see the purpose and the reason behind this fight. I see the power, and I want the world to see the same thing. The power that comes from educating a young girl. As the current crisis continues to affect the lives of millions of young Afghan girls, we need to be fully aware of the roots and the long-term impacts of such crises and act accordingly. Only opening the doors to schools and universities is not the ultimate solution anymore. We must think of the quality of the education they will be receiving and be aware of what our children, what the girls will be learning in these schools. We do not want a Talibani madrasa education for our children and our girls, because Taliban's curriculum does not do anything but to produce brainwashed terroristic ideology. And lastly, coming back to my very first point, listen to the women of Afghanistan. They are present. They protest every day on the streets of Kabul and all around the country, demanding education, justice, and equality. We just need to hear them. And I also want to ask every one of you in this room to be a voice for the girls and women in Afghanistan. And keep your governments accountable, because that is the very least we can do. I want the youth and all the young leaders around the world to feel responsible, to raise their voices, because just as Dr. Martin Luther King says, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you.